Bonjour, bienvenue à cette conférence de presse concernant les résultats de l'initiative d'appui aux communautés noires du Canada. Je me nomme Madeleine Myrtil et je serai l'animatrice de l'événement. Good afternoon. Welcome to this press conference about the result of the Supporting Black Canadians Communities Initiative. My name is Madeleine Myrtil and I will be your host for this event. Si vous avez des questions, je vous invite à utiliser le clavardage et à indiquer à qui des trois personnes suivantes elles sont adressées, soit à M. Jean-François du groupe 3737, M. Raymond Gist du Tropicana Community Service ou M. Rustman Southwell du Black Business Initiative. If you have any questions, please use the chat and mention to whom your question is addressed, either to Mr. Jean-François from the group 3737, Mr. Raymond Gist from Tropicana Community Services, or Mr. Rustam Southwell of the Black Business Initiative. Nous allons débuter les présentations avec l'honorable Ahmed Hussein, ministre de la Famille, des Enfants et du Développement social. We will start the presentation with the Honorable Ahmed Hussein, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development. Monsieur le ministre, la parole est à vous. Nous allons patienter quelques instants. We will just wait a few seconds. Donc, on m'annonce qu'il y a un petit souci avec la présentation du ministre. There's a little misstep regarding the presentation of the minister. What we will do is that we will continue with the following presentation. Nous allons poursuivre avec les présentations suivantes et par la suite, lorsque Monsieur le ministre se joindra à nous, nous allons poursuivre avec son allocution. We will continue with the rest of the presentation and when Mr. Hussein, will be able to join us. We will continue the presentation. Donc, nous allons débuter avec Monsieur Louis-Edgar Jean-François, président, directeur général du groupe 3737. We will start with Mr. Louis-Edgar Jean-François, President and CEO of Group 3737. Monsieur Jean-François, la parole est à vous. Mr. Jean-François, it's your time to talk.
Alors, bon mercredi matin, mesdames et messieurs. Laissez-moi commencer par saluer la présence du ministre de la Famille, des Enfants et du Développement social, l'honorable Ahmed Hussein. Je tiens également à saluer mes collègues gestionnaires des deux autres organismes intermédiaires et de l'organisme de support en service et à l'opérationnalisation de cette initiative qui est jugée historique. Monsieur Rustam Southwell, PDG de Black Business Initiative, Raymond Gist, directeur exécutif de Tropicana Community Services, et Emmanuel Melles, directeur exécutif de Network for the Advancement of Black Communities. Donc, mon nom est Louis-Edgar Jean-François, je suis le PDG du groupe 3737, l'organisme qui est responsable de la livraison de cette initiative pour la province de Québec. Aujourd'hui est une journée historique et marque un moment important dans la consolidation et le renforcement des services dédiés spécifiquement aux communautés noires. Après près de 2 ans de mise en place, nous sommes heureux de pouvoir annoncer les premiers organismes qui recevront un support financier et en coaching et mentorat et soutien d'experts. Cette annonce d'aujourd'hui n'aurait pas été possible sans le travail acharné et synergique d'organismes au service des communautés noires à travers le Canada, d'Emploi et Développement social Canada et bien sûr des 3 organismes intermédiaires et l'organisme de support en service précité. Je ne saurais passer sous silence l'extraordinaire travail effectué par les coordonnateurs de programmes du côté des organismes intermédiaires, notamment Ed Vertus, directeur de l'innovation sociale du groupe 3737 et coordonnateur du programme pour le groupe 3737, Ayo Makonjuola, coordonnateur de programme pour le Black Business Initiative, et Karen Soltau, coordonnatrice de programme pour Tropicana Community Services. Pour votre excellent travail, je vous dis merci. Je tiens également à remercier les experts et leaders des communautés noires du Canada pour votre implication et travail dans le processus rigoureux d'évaluation, d'analyse et de sélection des organismes supportés, ainsi que pour votre apport important à la gouvernance de l'initiative. Votre contribution a permis d'assurer un processus juste, équitable et transparent dans l'évaluation et le choix des organismes qui seront supportés. Encore merci. Finalement, j'aimerais remercier toutes les organisations qui travaillent d'arrache-pied au service des communautés noires du Canada et qui se sacrifient tous les jours pour aider ces collectivités. Un merci particulier aux 587 organismes à travers le Canada qui ont déposé une demande dans le cadre de cette initiative et félicitations aux entités finalistes et aux récipiendaires du financement et du soutien. Nous avons bien hâte de poursuivre à votre côté cet important travail et assurer le succès de cette initiative. Merci encore.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Jean-François. Thank you very much, Mr. Jean-François. Maintenant, la parole est à Monsieur Raymond Gist, directeur exécutif du Tropicana Community Services. Now it's time for Mr. Raymond Gist, Executive Director of Tropicana Community Services. Mr. Gist? Monsieur Gist?
Thank you, Madeline, and thank you for that introduction. I'm Raymond Geist. I'm the Executive Director of Tropicana Community Services. And on behalf of Tropicana's Board of Directors, leadership team, and staff, I want to extend warm greetings to the Honorable Minister Ahmed Hussein, my intermediary partners represented here by their CEOs, Louis Edgar from Group Transet in Quebec, Rustam Southwell in Halifax from the Black Business Initiative, and Emmanuel Melis with NAPSI, our service expert service provider. I also want to thank our working group team, who has done just an amazing job on behalf of our intermediary organizations, bringing so much of the work and laying so much of the foundation that has made today possible. Karen Saltow from Tropicana and Veritas from Group Transet, and Ao Makanjulo from BBI out in Halifax. Just want to express deep appreciation for the many hours, the amount of sweat and work that has gone into developing the online application management portal, working through the development of the eligibility criteria, the eligibility matrix that was applied by our independent selection committees, which they worked so closely with. I also want to thank Cynthia Amoa, who has been working very hard alongside our team and has been working with that working group. Today, it just really wouldn't be possible without the many days and hours, weeks that they have put in on this project. The historical significance of the Supporting Black Canadians Communities initiative simply cannot be overstated. And so, as I said before, it is wholly fitting and appropriate that we are announcing the achievement of this incredible milestone during Black History Month. For 40 years, Tropicana Services has been changing lives in Toronto through an array of diverse, culturally appropriate programs. And so we seek ways to extend that impact as far and in as many ways as we possibly can. And so that's why I'm so very excited about Tropicana's partnership with BBI, with Group Transet and NAPSI, and the Canadian government on this project. The Supporting Black Canadian Communities initiative is all about changing Black lives by growing, building on, and expanding the capacity of the organizations that touch those lives. And this collaboration is enabling us to collectively extend our community impact on a national scale now. And this is just the beginning. I have to say that this is truly just the beginning. Together, our organizations are achieving far greater things for and with the Black community than we ever could have individually. And so I'm just so very proud of the work this team has done, and I've got great hope for what is to come. This is truly a moment in the history of the Black community in Canada, and it's a turning point of not only how we as Black people relate to each other and collaborate with one another, but also in terms of collaboration and how we relate with our government in terms of issues of allyship. You know, when we as a community declare and commit, as we have, to the catch cry, nothing for us without us. It is truly a unifying and powerful force. And this project, the Supporting Black Canadian Communities Initiative, is a powerful demonstration of that. It's a powerful demonstration that our unified voice indeed has potency. And because the use of the intermediary model, that recognition that flowing this funding through Black organizations is really a tacit recognition that as Black people, we best know our lived experience, and we best know the needs that arise from that experience. And we are truly best equipped to design and the processes and administer the resources directed towards those needs. And so again, this is Black history in the making. The very first time that this kind of funding is being flowed to the Black community through Black-led and Black-serving organizations. And so today is a proud day. Today is a important day that we have been able to achieve this milestone of having launched a call for proposal in August, and within 6 months, we are ready to make announcements and flow the funding to the organizations on the ground who need those capacity building dollars. And so I just, again, thank the team of intermediaries, our working group, our friends within the Canadian government that have worked tirelessly to bring this to fruition. At ESDC, the work from the minister's office, and on down right through each of our organizations. And so thank you, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you very much, Mr. Geist. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Geist. Nous allons poursuivre les présentations avec Monsieur Rustam Southwell, fondateur et directeur général par intérim du Black Business Initiative. We will continue with Mr. Rustam Southwell, founding and interim CEO of Black Business Initiative. Mr. Southwell?
Bonjour. Good morning, folks. I come to you from Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral home of the Mi'kmaq people in Nova Scotia, and also the historic home of the Black community in Canada for some 400 years. African Nova Scotian, African Canadians have existed in this province and have made significant impact. Today, we have shown that we can work together. Today, we have shown that if there's a process in place that we have to deliver, we are capable, willing, and able to deliver that. So I want to first start by thanking Minister Ahmed Hussein, and his team, Donovan and Mamadou and others, who have pulled the ship together to get us where we are today. This work wouldn't have been done without the efforts of the political efforts and the effort of many folks, including the UNDPAD coalition, who have lobbied so hard for us to get this initiative off the ground. When called, we have answered that call to build a vehicle that will work for our community with a view from us, nothing about us without us, that will drive this initiative to good results. I would honestly like to thank very much Louis Agar from Groupe Transet, my colleague in Quebec, and Raymond Geist with Tropicana in Ontario, who, among the folks in this thinking, sat through many of the meetings from 2018, 2019 to get us to this point today where we're able to announce that after researching 587 plus applications, we have decided as a community that these are the ones who will be the first, and I'm sure that there'll be others who we can invest in quite easily and capably. And let me not take this too easy. Let us note that it was a community adjudication process. It was community involvement that decided who would be the first for these initiatives. And I can recall on the Black Business Initiative's own group, at a certain point, the collegiality of the community adjudicators from across Canada, in fact, was very, very honest, very useful to see us working that well together. And so you may see the leadership of the organizations in front of you, but those behind the work were very, very capable. Io Macanjola has been mentioned before on our team. I have to tip my hat to the yeoman's work that he has put into this. But like the others, Ed Versus in Quebec and Karen Sultan, they have worked a marvelous job in getting the turnaround from announcement in November to delivery this quickly for a virgin trip. We actually should feel honestly that we can salute the work of the incredible capacity within our Black community. And when called to the occasion, we have the talent, the willingness to rise to that occasion and deliver. And you will see today that we have delivered in quick time, with transparency, and with a significant effort across many, many provinces in this country and different groups. So salute, merci, and I hope you have an enjoyable day. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Southwell. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Southwell. Nous allons patienter quelques instants. J'ai un message comme quoi que le ministre Hussein a pu se joindre à nous. Donc, je vais maintenant, comme je le mentionnais tout à l'heure, céder la parole à l'honorable Ahmed Hussein, ministre de la Famille, des Enfants et du Développement social. We will now continue with the Honorable Ahmed Hussein, Minister of Family, Children and Social Development. Monsieur le ministre. Minister. Donc, il semble malheureusement y avoir toujours un souci technique, c'est la magie du direct. Unfortunately, it seems as if there is still a difficulty regarding the connection. So unfortunately, we won't have the opportunity to hear from Minister Hussein. Malheureusement, il semble que le souci technique persiste, ce qui nous empêche d'avoir accès au ministre Hussein. Toutefois, si vous avez des questions, je vous invite à utiliser le clavardage et de mentionner à qui vous adressez votre question. So if you have any questions, I will please ask you to use the chat, and do not forget, please, to address to whom your question is to. Donc, il semble ne pas y avoir de questions pour l'instant. J'inviterai messieurs Jean-François, Southwell et Geist, si jamais vous avez d'autres interventions plus spécifiques que vous aimeriez rajouter, à le faire. I would like to invite Mr. Jean-François, Southwell and Geist. If there's any other information that you would like to add, it is the time to do it before we conclude. Je vous rappellerai également qu'il est possible, si vous le souhaitez, avoir plus d'informations aujourd'hui, d'envoyer un courriel à l'attention de Madame Myriam Valsin à l'adresse suivante, rp@groupe3737.com. If you have any other question during the day or the following days regarding the initiative, please send the questions addressed to Miss Myriam Valsin, and it's possible to send an email to rp@group3737.com. Donc, je vois une question ici de Madame Isabelle Massé qui demande qui sont les organismes appuyés. There's a question from Miss Isabelle Massé regarding the organizations that are supported by this initiative.
Que je vais me permettre de répondre à la question. Donc, Madame Massé, pour répondre à votre question, tout de suite après la conférence de presse, il y a des courriels qui vont être envoyés à chacune des organisations qui ont postulé pour l'initiative. Et également, dans ces courriels-là, il va y avoir des courriels spécifiques aux organisations qui ont été sélectionnées. On veut d'abord qu'ils reçoivent l'information en premier. Par la suite, d'ici 24 heures, nous allons publier sur nos différentes plateformes, incluant nos sites web, les organisations qui seront supportées financièrement par l'initiative. Donc, je vous invite à consulter notre site Internet et nos plateformes numériques d'ici les prochaines 24 heures.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Jean-François, pour votre réponse. J'inviterai vos compères, Mr. Geest and Southwell, to answer the question also, the translation. So Mrs. Massé was asking, who are the organizations who are being supported by this initiative? If it's possible for you to answer the question, Mr. Southwell, Mr. Geest.
So I'll try first. I think they will announce the persons who were successful later on today in terms of the 87 organizations that will be supported. But the intermediaries who are delivering the service, obviously the BBI on the east, Groupe 3737 in Quebec, and Tropicana in Ontario, supported by NAPSI as a support organization, are the organizations that were juried by the government to be the intermediaries. So we went out and there were like over 587 persons who responded. Groupe 3737, I think, have selected about 40 organizations within Quebec, if I'm not mistaken. And the remaining 47 between Raymond with Tropicana and BBI, there are the 47 across Canada. We will be announcing those later on today. Not to steal any thunder, I think we have the minister now.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Southwell. We've been waiting for Minister Hussein. So yes, I will transfer the mic to Mr. Hussein. Donc, nous avons maintenant le ministre avec nous. Donc, l'honorable Ahmed Hussein, ministre de la Famille, des Enfants et du Développement social. The Honorable Ahmed Hussein, Minister of Family, Children and Social Development. Monsieur le ministre.
Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. C'est un plaisir de vous voir. Je suis heureux de me joindre à vous tous aujourd'hui pour cette annonce importante alors que nous célébrons le mois de l'histoire des Noirs. It's a pleasure to see all of you. I'm happy to join you today for this really important announcement as we celebrate Black History Month. I think we can all agree that in Canada, diversity is indeed our strength. Yet over the last year or so, as we've faced the unprecedented challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen that there's still far too many gaps in our society. And this is true, especially when it comes to Black Canadians, who still face many systemic barriers in Canada. Our government recognizes the very real issue of systemic racism in our country and around the world. Nous sommes engagés à nous assurer que nos programmes et nos initiatives reflètent les besoins des Canadiens noirs. We're committed to making sure that our programs and initiatives reflect the needs of Black Canadians. And that is why we created the Supporting Black Canadians initiative. This initiative is the first of its kind, and our government is proud to be taking this important step in the right direction. But we also know that there's more work to be done, and I can assure you that our government is committed to working with partners towards future opportunities to support Black Canadian communities across the country. And today's announcements sit near and dear to my heart, as I've seen firsthand the negative, damaging effects of systemic racism within our community. I've also heard directly from Black Canadian families from coast to coast to coast about their experiences facing barriers. Through this initiative, our government is supporting and investing in Black led grassroots organizations right across Canada. C'est un soutien pour la communauté par la communauté. This means support for the community by the community. It was very important for me to understand that this is a principle that had to be put into practice. And that is why funding to these Black Canadian organizations right across the country will be administered by 3 Black Canadian intermediaries: Tropicana Community Services, Black Business Initiatives, and Groupe 3737, which brings me to why we're all here. Joining me today are Louis-Edgar Jean-François, président directeur général Groupe 3737, Raymond Gist, executive director Tropicana Community Services, and Rustum Southwell, founding and interim CEO, Black Business Initiative. So thank you very, very much for being here, and I applaud each of your teams for their work and the important efforts they have undertaken to reach this historic moment. La collaboration entre tous les partenaires a été cruciale pour obtenir les résultats que nous avons aujourd'hui. The collaboration between all partners involved has been key to achieving the results we're hearing about today. Together, they will be announcing the results of their first call for proposals to fund eligible Black-led community organizations. In total, our government, the Government of Canada, is providing over $2.6 million that the intermediaries will disburse in support of a total of 87 Black-led grassroots projects right across Canada. L'annonce d'aujourd'hui représente un moment important pour les communautés et les organisations noires à travers le Canada. Today's announcement is an important moment for Black communities and organizations across Canada. We are proud to work in partnership with Tropicana Community Services, Black Business Initiative, and Groupe 3737 to fund Black-led organizations that provide critical services for the communities that they serve. And, you know, for many, many years, Black Canadian community organizations have been asking the Government of Canada to not only fund programs, but also fund investments in capacity building for Black-led organizations. And that is exactly what we're doing here with the support and assistance of these intermediaries. And with that, I will now turn it over to our partners. Thank you so much once again for being here. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le ministre. Thank you, Mr. Minister Hussein. Monsieur Jean-François, Monsieur Southwell, Mr. Geist, merci beaucoup pour votre présence et le travail effectué tout au long de ces derniers mois. Comme on l'a mentionné, c'est un moment historique pour les communautés noires et c'est vous ainsi que vos équipes qui en êtes originaire. Donc, merci encore une fois. Mr. Jean-François, Mr. Southwell, Mr. Geist, thank you very much for your presence and all the work that you've done in the past month for that historic moment. Thank you very much. Ceci conclut la conférence de presse. Je vous rappelle que si vous avez des questions, vous pouvez envoyer un message adressé à Madame Myriam Valsin à l'adresse suivante rp@groupe3737.com. This concludes this press conference. If you have any questions, please address them to Ms. Myriam Valsin to the following email, rp@group3737.com. Merci beaucoup et bonne fin de journée. Thank you very much and have a good day.